Tonight, we are traveling far away from the noise of the modern world, far beyond busy streets, glowing phone screens, and endless distractions. We are going back thousands of years to deserts of gold-colored sand, ancient kings, forgotten tombs, and one of the greatest creations humanity has ever built. Welcome to Bedtime Stories on Canvas, a quiet and cozy little corner of the night, where soft stories from history drift slowly beside the gentle movement of paint across a waiting canvas, a place where the world becomes quieter, your thoughts begin to soften, and the steady brushstrokes on the screen move as calmly as slow breathing before sleep. So as the canvas slowly fills with warm shades of colors, and as each careful stroke of paint glides quietly across the fabric beside you, allow your shoulders to relax a little more. Let your breathing grow slower, softer, calmer, and together, let us wander gently into the ancient world. But before we begin our journey tonight, I'd love to invite you to gently like this video and subscribe to the channel. It's a simple way to support this peaceful space, and it truly means so much to me. I'm also always curious, where in the world are you listening from right now, and what time is it for you? Feel free to share it in the comments. And now, settle in, let your body relax, and allow the noise of the modern world to slowly fade away. Tonight's story begins with something many people think they already understand: the wonders of the world. Now, if someone wonders today, many people quickly begin naming famous places, almost at random, perhaps the Eiffel Tower, maybe Stonehenge, or the Roman Colosseum. But the truth is, the original wonders of the ancient world were something very different altogether. And strangely enough, many people have forgotten them. There is one ancient structure that still stands above the sands of time itself: the Great Pyramid of Giza, the oldest of all the ancient wonders, and the only one still standing today. Long before skyscrapers, before airplanes, before modern cities, this enormous monument rose from the Egyptian desert like a mountain built by human hands. And if you had seen it in ancient times, it would have looked very different from the dusty pyramid tourists visit today. The pyramid we know now appears rough, weathered, and worn by thousands of years of wind and heat. Its outer stones are mostly gone, the smooth surface stripped away by time, earthquakes, and human hands. But once, it gleamed. The entire pyramid was covered in brilliant white limestone casing stones, polished smooth enough to reflect sunlight across the desert for miles. Under the blazing Egyptian sun, it must have looked almost unreal, like a giant triangle of light rising into the heavens. Its peak may even have been covered in gold. Imagine standing near it at sunrise, the cool desert air still resting softly over the sands as the first light of morning touched the shining white stone. Slowly, quietly, the pyramid would begin glowing like fire. And perhaps now, as you listen, you can picture an artist carefully painting that scene onto canvas, beautiful colors blending gently, each slow brushstroke helping your thoughts drift farther away from the busy present. The Great Pyramid was not built simply to impress people. Its true purpose was far more sacred. It was a tomb, a resting place for the pharaoh Khufu, the ruler of Egypt nearly 4,500 years ago. The ancient Egyptians believed their pharaohs were not ordinary human beings. They believed they were divine, living bridges between humanity and the gods. And when a pharaoh died, his spirit would continue its journey into the afterlife. But for that journey to succeed, the king's body needed protection. So the Egyptians created something extraordinary: a gigantic stone fortress meant to survive forever. And somehow, impossibly, they succeeded. The Great Pyramid originally stood around 146 meters tall. For thousands of years, it remained the tallest human-made structure on Earth. Even now, modern engineers still admire its precision. Millions of stone blocks were transported across the desert, each one weighing several tons. Together, the pyramid contains around 2.3 million blocks of stone. Just imagining such a task feels exhausting. And yet, the ancient Egyptians completed it in only about 20 years. For a very long time, people believed slaves built the pyramids. That image appeared in movies, books, and old stories. But modern discoveries tell us something different. The workers were actually skilled laborers, craftsmen, builders, engineers, and ordinary Egyptians working together on a massive national project. Entire villages were built near the construction site to house them. They received food, medical care, and organized labor schedules. In many ways, the pyramid was not built by suffering slaves alone, but by an entire civilization united behind one incredible purpose. As the paintbrush beside you slowly traces the shape of the Great Pyramid against a starry sky, perhaps your eyelids are beginning to feel just a little heavier now, the rhythm of the story and the quiet movement of the canvas becoming softer and softer together. Deep inside the pyramid, hidden behind narrow passageways and heavy stone chambers, lay the resting place of Pharaoh Khufu himself. And surprisingly, the king's burial chamber is rather simple. At its center sits a large granite sarcophagus. Plain, silent, empty now. It almost feels strange. After all the unimaginable effort used to construct the pyramid, the final resting place of the mighty king appears so modest. But perhaps that simplicity carries its own kind of power. A reminder that even the greatest rulers eventually become quiet memories inside history. The Egyptians designed the pyramid carefully to confuse thieves. Long passageways twist through the structure, some leading nowhere at all. Dead ends, hidden shafts, sealed corridors. Massive granite blocks were slid into place to block important routes after the king was buried. It was an ancient security system built entirely from stone. And yet, despite all those protections, grave robbers still found ways inside long ago. Very little of Khufu's original treasure remains today. But the mysteries of the pyramid never disappeared. One of the strangest chambers inside is often called the Queen's Chamber. Curiously, no queen was ever buried there. In fact, nobody truly knows why the room exists. Some historians believe it may once have contained a statue of the pharaoh. Others think it served a spiritual purpose connected to the king's journey into the afterlife. But the truth remains uncertain. And perhaps that mystery is part of what makes the pyramids feel so timeless. Even after thousands of years, they still keep secrets. Then there are the narrow shafts leading upward from deep inside the pyramid. For many years, nobody understood their purpose. They are far too small for people to crawl through comfortably, and they do not function like normal hallways. Some researchers believe they pointed toward important stars in the night sky, helping guide the pharaoh's spirit toward the heavens. Others think they allowed fresh air into the chambers during construction. Even now, scientists continue studying them, sending tiny robots into spaces no human can reach. And still, the pyramid refuses to reveal everything. Outside, the desert winds continue blowing softly across the sands of Giza, just as they did thousands of years ago. Empires have risen and vanished. Languages have changed. Entire civilizations have disappeared into dust. But the Great Pyramid remains, silent, watching, waiting beneath the stars. And now, as the canvas painting beside you slowly fills with ancient Egyptian colors, soft golds, faded limestone whites, deep midnight blues, you may notice your breathing becoming calmer, steadier, your thoughts drifting more slowly now, like sand carried gently across the desert by warm night winds. If this calm little corner of the internet is bringing you comfort tonight, don't forget to like and subscribe so you can always find your way back here. Now, our journey takes another turn toward a structure built not for kings nor queens, but for the king of the gods himself, the statue of Zeus. Inside a great temple at Olympia stood a giant seated figure of Zeus, ruler of the Greek gods. Created by the famous sculptor Phidias, the statue became one of the most admired artworks of the ancient world. It was enormous, covered in gold and ivory, decorated with precious details. The statue filled visitors with awe the moment they entered the temple. The Greeks believed Zeus watched over the Olympic Games held nearby, and naturally, different cities competed fiercely for honor and prestige. One city built impressive statues for its own goddess, another wanted something even grander. Ancient rivalries could be surprisingly childish sometimes, but from that rivalry came extraordinary art. But even wonders cannot escape time forever. Over the centuries, earthquakes damaged the temple. Fires swept through parts of the structure. Wars and invasions changed the ancient world around it. Little by little, the great statue disappeared into history, and eventually, the once famous wonder became ruins buried beneath the earth. Today, only fragments remain, but stories survive longer than stone. And so our gentle journey through the ancient world continues onward to another magnificent wonder built not for a god, but for a man determined never to be forgotten. Welcome to Halicarnassus, a grand city along the coast of what is now Turkey. And here, a ruler named Mausolus once governed the region of Korea. One day, after years of wealth and power, Mausolus died. But his story did not end with a simple grave. His wife, who was also his sister, according to royal tradition of the time, wished to honor him with something extraordinary. Not merely a tomb, but a monument so beautiful, so enormous, that future generations would remember his name forever. And in a way, they still do, because the structure built for him became so famous that his name eventually gave us the modern word mausoleum. The tomb of Mausolus rose high above the city, blending Greek artistic styles with massive architectural ambition. The finest sculptors and craftsmen of the age were brought together to create it. Stone carvings decorated its sides, statues lined its upper levels. Elegant columns supported the structure beneath a towering pyramid-shaped roof. And at the very top, a grand sculpture of Mausolus and his wife riding together in a chariot overlooked the city below. It must have looked breathtaking beneath the Mediterranean sun. A monument built from grief, pride, wealth, and love for remembrance itself. As the paintbrush glides slowly across the canvas beside you tonight, perhaps outlining the background, you may notice your thoughts becoming wonderfully distant now, like old memories, fading softly into dreams. Unlike many of the other wonders, the mausoleum survived for a remarkably long time. Centuries passed around it. Empires rose and collapsed. Alexander the Great marched across the ancient world. Pirates crossed nearby seas. Wars changed the map again and again. And still, the mausoleum endured. But eventually, nature succeeded where armies had failed. Earthquakes slowly weakened the structure. Stone cracked. Walls collapsed. The once glorious wonder gradually fell into ruin. And sadly, centuries later, many of its remaining stones were taken apart and reused to strengthen a nearby fortress. Even wonders sometimes become building material for the future. History can be strangely practical that way. Still, despite its destruction, the mausoleum left behind something powerful. An idea. The idea that architecture could preserve memory itself. That a building could carry a person's name across thousands of years. And perhaps, tonight, somewhere between waking and dreaming, you can almost picture ancient sculptors carefully carving marble. By lantern light, their tools echoing softly through the quiet night air, now our journey carries us toward one of the most dramatic stories in the ancient world. The Colossus of Rhodes. A giant bronze statue built after a desperate war for survival. Long ago, after the death of Alexander the Great, His enormous empire fractured apart. His generals fought fiercely over land and power. Kingdoms battled each other constantly. And caught in the middle of this chaos stood the island city of Rhodes. Rhodes was wealthy, busy, important. Ships carrying goods from across the Mediterranean passed through its harbors every day. Naturally, powerful rulers wanted control over it. One such ruler launched a massive siege against the island. Huge armies surrounded the city. War machines rolled toward the walls. For nearly a year, the people of Rhodes endured attack after attack. But the city refused to surrender. Even when an enormous siege tower was brought against them, the machine was gigantic, taller than many buildings of the time, covered in weapons and packed with soldiers. It crept toward the city walls like some terrible moving fortress. Yet somehow, against overwhelming odds, Rhodes survived. Allies arrived. The attackers retreated. And the island celebrated its freedom. After the battle, enormous amounts of abandoned metal and weaponry remained behind. And instead of simply selling it away, the people transformed it into art. They melted the bronze and forged something unforgettable. The Colossus of Rhodes, a towering statue of the sun god Helios standing proudly above the island. Imagine ships approaching the harbor, seeing that gigantic bronze figure glowing under the sunlight from miles away. It must have filled the people of Rhodes with enormous pride. The statue represented victory, freedom, survival, proof that their small island had resisted one of the most powerful armies of its time. There is something deeply human about that, turning the remains of war into beauty. If you're still awake, still drifting through this story with me, you can softly support the channel with a like and subscribe. As soft strokes of paintbrush and these colors spread across the painted canvas beside you, perhaps you can almost hear distant relaxing music brushing gently on the canvas of this beautiful flowers. Sadly, the Colossus would not stand long. Only a few decades after its completion, a powerful earthquake struck Rhodes. The giant statue collapsed. Ancient writers described it broken across the ground, enormous pieces scattered beside the harbor. And even fallen, people still traveled great distances simply to see it. That alone says something remarkable about the wonder it inspired. Eventually, much of the bronze disappeared over time, but the legend remained. And now, at last, we arrive at the final wonder of the ancient world: the Lighthouse of Alexandria. Perhaps the greatest lighthouse ever built in antiquity. The city of Alexandria in Egypt was one of the busiest ports in the ancient world. Ships arrived constantly, carrying spices, grain, silk, gold, and treasures from distant lands. But the harbor could also be dangerous. Storms, darkness, and rocky coastlines made navigation difficult, especially at night. So the rulers of Alexandria decided to build something extraordinary. Not merely a lighthouse, but a beacon the entire world would remember. The lighthouse rose roughly 130 meters into the sky, towering over the coastline. Its lower section was square. Its middle rose upward in elegant layers, and at the very top burned an enormous flame. Since electricity did not yet exist, engineers used polished bronze mirrors to reflect and strengthen the firelight. The beacon became so bright that sailors could supposedly see it from many miles away across the sea. Imagine ancient ships crossing dark waters at night, storm clouds above, waves crashing below, and then far in the distance, a brilliant light appearing on the horizon. Safe harbor. Safety itself, shining through the darkness. The lighthouse became a symbol of Alexandria's wealth and importance. It welcomed merchants from across the known world. And naturally, more merchants meant more trade, more prosperity, and greater power for the city. Even thousands of years ago, cities competed to appear grander and more impressive than their rivals. Human nature changes surprisingly little. Yet perhaps there is also something beautiful in that ambition. The desire to create structures so magnificent they outlive the people who built them. The Lighthouse of Alexandria survived for nearly 1,500 years. Earthquakes damaged it repeatedly, but still it endured. Generation after generation saw its light guiding ships home. Until finally, after centuries of surviving storms and disasters, a massive earthquake brought the Great Lighthouse down for good. And with that, these wonders of the ancient world slowly passed into history. Some vanished completely. Some survive only as ruins. And only one, the Great Pyramid of Giza, still stands beneath the desert sky today. As our journey gently nears its end tonight, the canvas beside you may now be filled with beautiful shades of colors, beautiful flowers, and perhaps you've noticed something curious. It is surprisingly difficult to remember every name, every ruler, every sculptor, every date. History fades softly around the edges, like paint blending slowly together on canvas. But maybe that is perfectly fine, because the true beauty of these wonders is not memorizing every detail. It is the feeling they leave behind, the feeling of human beings reaching upward, dreaming bigger than themselves, creating beauty simply because they wished to leave something meaningful behind. And now, as your eyes grow heavier and the story slowly settles into silence, you can let the ancient world drift gently into the distance, the pyramids resting beneath the stars, the gardens whispering with flowing water, the bronze Colossus watching over quiet seas, the lighthouse shining softly one final time across the dark Mediterranean night. Thank you for joining me here tonight on Bedtime Stories on Canvas, where history moves slowly. The paintbrush glides softly, and sleep arrives as gently as drifting sand beneath an ancient moonlit sky.